Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lady Coding Happy Hour, Part 3. My name is Maria Gabriela Ochoa Perez Waechter. This is my little baby Snoopy Waechter. He is our newest addition, but he is not old enough to drink, so he won't be joining in on that. And with me, I have some lovely ladies. If you'll please introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'm Ashley Snyder. I'm a ServiceNow developer at Virginia Tech. You've seen me on part 1 and part 2 of this series. I have a blog, ashleysn.com, and I will be documenting this series as well. I documented part 1 and 2, so if you want to follow along part 3, it'll be on there in just a couple days. Oh, and I'm drinking today Athletics Free Wave Hazy IPA. It's a non-alcoholic beer from Athletic. Their beers are like really good if you're looking for non-alcoholic options. I do suggest this one.
All right, and I am Sharon Barnes. Very glad to meet you all for the first live code happy hour I've been on. And I work with New Access Innovations, and I am today enjoying a Shiner's Prickly Pear. So very nice seasonal brewery.
Nice.
I think we should start like a pot, like a pool. That's a pool. To see when I'll ever get my intro right the first time around. So hi, y'all already know my name. I work for Clear Sky, the better way to IGA. And you can find me at womennow.dev, where I start fights on LinkedIn and say controversial things. Don't call me darling. This is Hardywood Tropic Like It's Hot. I didn't read the title. I love it. This is the Virginia Pride collaboration for a local brewery, and it's a sour ale with passion fruit, pineapple, hibiscus, and blueberry. So I guess today we're gonna tropic like it's hot. Tropic. And we have our Snoop Dogg. I wish I had planned this. This is amazing. Okay, Ashley. Do you want to start the actually legit part of the LCHH?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and share my screen and kind of recap where we're at here. So let me go ahead and get this going. Okay, can you guys see my screen? See that instance up? Yay, nay?
We've got you.
Okay, cool. So this is part 3 of our developer MVP directory that we've been working on. Part 1, we set up this kind of home page and this an EVAM definition that flowed data into this data set component, which gave us all these cards here of some developer MVPs that we have in a table. We have some basic information like website, social media, bio, and some fun facts. So that's what we got accomplished in part 1. In part 2, we were working on an information page where we took the data from the EVAM definition. Basically, if you click on one of those cards, it should drop you into the info page. And it's basically, about that one developer MPP, and we show like fun facts, website, social media. We were working on that last time. We had a lot of fun last time. We actually kind of played around with the back end of UIBuilder and stuff. We looked at the macro component definition, which I'll touch base on today. Got into like how do you revert stuff in UIBuilder right now? Like, because we were both on it at the same time and trying to do stuff. And, we you can revert those macro component definitions. So we looked at that. That was fun, because right now you can't really revert changes on UIBuilder. So that's as far as we got last time. Our goals this time is to set up that one part that we missed. Basically, when you click on one of those cards, it drops you into this info page. Another hurdle that we had was getting the photo to show. So our developer MVP table has a reference to the sys user table, which is where the photos are at. I wanted to grab the photos from the user record and not the dev MVP record. And we kind of had some hurdles around that in the data resource, which we're going to take a look at today. And then lastly, we have like a game set up. Basically, all these fun facts that we've gathered, we want to put in like a game. So we want to create a page for that and have people play the game. You read through the developer MVPs, you read through their fun facts, and then you can take the game. You can play the game, as many times as you want. So that's what we're looking at today, just to give a recap. I don't know if there's anything I missed, Maria, that we covered last time that you want to talk about.
No, I appreciate you just kind of gliding right over the fact that I broke everything. And that's why we found out that you can't revert stuff on the UIBuilder off of the main UI. No, thank you so much. I think that is a very awesome recap. I'm glad I didn't have to do that, because I completely forgot 97% of that. Also, yeah, thanks for the spoilers, Phil. Why do you have to go be spoiling all of our surprises?
I'm not reading the Slack right now, so I don't know what's going on in chat, but cool. So we'll go ahead and get started. Feel free to throw in any questions or stuff along the way. So the one thing that was kind of throwing us off last time that I forgot to do was come down here to configure declarative action event mappings and basically set it up to where the data set kind of triggers an event to send a sys over, and then basically the events on the page will redirect you to the info page. And I can kind of go over what we set up. So we set up this page event mapping that will link to the info page. Let me see if I can click in this without deleting everything. And basically it routes to the info page and it sends over the payload sys or the sys of the record that we're clicking on. And so we set some events up for that. We just need to finalize doing that when we actually click it here in the dataset component. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up first. I'm just going to call it the same as like our events, just to keep it all together. And basically, I just want to grab the payload sys there.
So Sharon, do you have any
Yes.
experience with UIBuilder? I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat already knows that Ashley's an expert. I'm here for color commentary. How about you?
I am here for color commentary.
Awesome. Two of
A
us.
lot of what I have learned about UIBuilder, I have watched you guys building stuff here, and that was my first introduction. And so I have seen some interesting things and done a little bit of independent research as well to go from there.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to touch it either yet. It's I'm just elbows and knees deep inside of Portal still. I'm so excited to get the opportunity to actually just get to have fun with UIBuilder though.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
We had just finished going live with a project, so I've been fairly busy with that.
Congratulations. What's it like going live?
Well,
I've never done that. I'm joking.
I do hear it's a rare circumstance.
Yeah,
but
no,
it
I
feels
just
good.
switched jobs like on a clock schedule almost. But I'm changing that from now on so the jokes can stop. Okay, Ashley, you can take it back.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. I just wanted, so I'm going to confirm. I just did it, but I'll just confirm. So now when we click on a card, yay,
Yay!
the info page, and it sends over the sys of the developer MVP record itself. And
You've
we're
been to Cuba?
grabbing all the data from the developer MPP record and we're putting it into like different stylized text components and stuff that we set up last time. So we got that part working. So I know that was kind of a thing last time we were trying to figure out. So we're good there. So I'm going to
So when did you go to Cuba?
I went to Cuba, it was like 2019. It was like literally a month before it was shut down again.
Oh,
So
wow. What part did
one
you
of the
go
last
to?
cruise ships to go.
Do you remember what part you visited?
So you know, it was like on a cruise. So we just did Old Havana, but it was awesome. I totally want to go back. You know, hopefully one day it opens up. I know a lot has changed since then, but it was just like really amazing to be there. You know, there's so much culture. The people were like so nice. Their architecture, like, you know, I know it's different kind of politics and stuff, but they have like beautiful 500-year-old buildings that they've preserved and try to preserve. So it was like really cool just like stepping into that culture and learning about it.
Most definitely. My mom sends me pictures that our cousins take all the time, and it's crazy because it's almost like they're stopped in time. All their cars are like extremely old, but they still
Yeah.
keep them running.
Yeah, it was definitely
Really
like a
amazing.
step into the past. It was really interesting. All right, cool. So I'm going to move on. So the other thing that was tripping us up was getting the picture. Because we found, and I wrote a blog about this too, because I wanted to go ahead and get it out there. And also just to remind myself, we found that there's a glide record data resource that we created. And basically that just gets like one record. And what we're doing is grabbing the SysID up here from the URL that's being sent when we click on that card. And we were able to get all the fields that was on the developer MVP record, but we weren't able to dot walk from the UI. So that was really interesting to kind of figure out. And I'm pretty stubborn in trying to do things the easiest way possible. So what I found is kind of a workaround for now. I'm sure this will be fixed like next release or something. I think it's just a UI thing. What I found is if you go into the back end of the page and the macro component definition, that's a mouthful to say, kind of like what we discussed last time, this is all the JSON that really kind of holds all the stuff you put in UIBuilder. So anything that you're putting in UIBuilder, like your components and you know, events, data resources, it's all housed in some JSON here. I wouldn't recommend going in here very much and messing with stuff unless you know what you're doing. But I was kind of clicking around. I was like, okay, so I know I have a data resource. Let me go find it. Let me go find what it looks like. And I found this. I was like, well, these are the fields that I selected. So what just happens if I put name.photo in here and save it? We'll just give that a second to save off. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember if this was the page where we fixed all my mistakes in.
I don't know. I know we had to do a little bit of cleanup after that, but cool. So I got name.photo. I put it at the end. And when I was playing around with it, I noticed if I put it at the beginning, kind of throws some stuff off and is wonky. So I just put it at the end. I'm just going to refresh this. Okay. And so when I put it in there, it doesn't show up here. It's not going to. I think that's a UI thing. But if I come over here to output, I notice now there's that name, which is a reference to the user table. And now I have this little underscore reference photo thing that contains the value of the photo. So I have it in my JSON. So I was like, well, let me see now if I can use this and walk to it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of copy one of these little codes here and pop that in. Let me just grab that.
So while she's popping that,
Being
you want to
fun.
tell us how you got into how your journey into ServiceNow has gone so far, Sharon?
Sure.
I talk all the time about how like I taught myself ServiceNow largely with the help of a bunch of people on the SMDevs chat, and like how I went from being a help desk person and all that stuff. But what about you?
Well, I illogically started out managing a life insurance company. Not exactly
Oh.
where you plan to go from there to becoming a ServiceNow developer, is it?
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's awesome though. That's what I really like about ServiceNow is that you can really get in there from a lot of different locations and change your whole life around.
Yes, you can. They have such amazing training that is available out there that you just have to look for and you can find it. With Now Learning and the developer site, they have so many resources to just dive in. I'm working on trying to learn a couple other applications for the sake of integrating with them. And their resources are like a black box some days when you're trying to figure out how you're doing a connection with them or what on earth they're doing behind the scenes. So I very much enjoyed the process, and I spent about 6 months learning while working, at which point I realized I really loved what I was learning about. And so I quit working for the insurance company and started studying full time. And within about 3 or 4 months after that, I was applying for jobs, getting hired, and now enjoying working with a partner. So far, we've done one full implementation as well as a custom application implementation. So those are really cool and exciting to do.
That is super cool. Wow, you sound so productive. What's that
Well,
like?
I do try to do that. But we're a medium-sized team and growing quickly. And so I have amazing coworkers to ask questions of all of the time. Plus, many of you who have watched Live Code Happy Hour may recognize my husband, Andrew Barnes. So he's also awesome for asking questions.
Yes, I can't wait until further in the future you get more involved, you know, with Live Lady Coding Happy Hour. You become a regular on womennow.dev. We get you content creating, and then he will be Sharon's husband.
That's right.
That is a goal, yes.
Yes. I'll make you an emoji too. We got this.
Yay. I need
Sharon
one.
take over.
Okay.
All right, cool. I'm just going to kind of recap what I did. So we're in this avatar component, and under image source, you know, we put in the scripted property value. I mentioned this last time, and I'll kind of go back real quick just so you can see. What we're doing is we're kind of walking down this JSON object here. So we kind of have to hit all the points here to get what we want. So if you're wondering, where did I get that script from? It's from there, basically. So walking down, I hit name, and then I put in that underscore reference, which is like super important if you're trying to do what I'm doing, and then the name of the field. And that's how we're able to, like, I guess it's dot walk for now. And I don't know if it's supported or what, but that's how I found out how to dot walk for now, to get, you know, information from another record within that glide record data resource. Like I said, things are subject to change, but that's just how we did it. So I didn't have to set up another data resource or anything. I just put it in the backend JSON of the Mac component, and it gave me what I wanted, which is awesome.
Yeah,
so
you have pictures.
Yeah, let's go ahead and
Looks good.
let's refresh and make sure that works. We'll go click on that one. Yeah, there we go.
Yay!
Cool. Yay! That really, we spent a lot of, Sharon, you weren't here last time. We spent a lot of time trying to figure that out. because it was like, because at first, the first live coding happy hour, I had the dev MVP table extended from sysuser, and we got some really great feedback on why not to do that. So I reworked it and I referenced sysuser, which blew everything up for me for like a minute on this data resource. But it was cool because, you know, it kind of challenged us to figure out how to do this workaround, which is awesome. So awesome. So I think we're good here. I mean, you know, as far as like the layout and stuff, we got basics. I'm not going to go too crazy with centering things for this right now. If we throw it up on like a site, we'll probably rework it a little bit more. But so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and create a new page for the game. And I'm not going to give it a page template or anything. And we don't have any parameters to send over. Sorry if that thing keeps coming up. So we're good there.
What's the point of our game?
Do what?
What's the point of our game? Are
So,
we doing trivia or what?
What we did, we put all those fun facts on the developer MPP. So now if you click a card and go into the record, you can read the fun facts. And the game's like kind of like test your knowledge, right? Like, so like we have, and I'll show it in a minute, just some questions that you can answer on those fun facts and guess who the developer was.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. Keeps going over here. So I just want to check on one thing real quick. So we have this kind of like menu bar here, and we have it set to go somewhere. I just want to make sure that, I'm gonna see if we need to set that up or if we already set it up previously. I can't remember. Looks like we did. So we have, if you click on that, it routes to the game page, which I just created. So cool. So let me do, I was looking at a couple of different things for the game, you know, within ServiceNow, because there are quizzes in ServiceNow. But from what I was seeing, kind of like the quizzes, we're leaning more towards authenticated users. And, you know, if we do throw this up on a site for anyone to play, I wanted to do it to where people didn't have to be authenticated. So what I did was actually create just a Google form game for this. Just so you don't have to be authenticated. So what we're going to do is throw that in an iframe component. So here's the game. You know, I don't know if we'll use this exact one, but if we do, we're not collecting emails or anything, guys. We're not trying to get data from you if you do play. I just wanted to point that out. So what we want to do is embed this into our game page. So let me go ahead and get a container. I like to put things in containers. And like an iframe component going. Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and just save that off. I actually do want to make that a little bit bigger, but I'll give it just a sec. So like you can see the iframe container right now it's just going out to Wikipedia, but that's just a really good way. I think someone was asking about this on the Slack the other day about visual task boards, and I was like, hey, try out the iframe component. And you see, and they did, and it worked out. So this would be a cool way to put visual task boards and stuff in there, you know, unless something else is released for that natively, but just a cool way to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the link for this. And we want to embed it. Let me see if I can copy this right. I might take this and copy it somewhere else.
I've been informed by my lovely husband that there is a giant spider about to murder me from the ceiling. I will be right back.
All right. Cool. So I stripped this somewhere else, but what I had to do is get the iframe embedded link from Google for this to work, just so you guys know. And of course, I think I just messed it up, but we'll just go from there. Let's do 600. 800. So there's something going on with the file. I'm going to click this disable sandbox thingy. Okay, so I was kind of playing around with that earlier too. I don't know much about disable sandbox. I do see what it tells me. I went to, if you go to the developer website and go to reference, there's like a whole section on now experience and components where you can basically read everything you need to know about components right now. So I was reading about disable Sandbox, and it looks like if you leave it enabled, it lifts the allow scripts option. I'm not like a huge security person. I know that there's like cross script, like, you know, origins and stuff like that, but I know I had to undisable this for this to work. Okay. Again, I don't know the security implications of that, but this is like a Google form, but just keep in mind I had to do that. I would love to see more information on that. Maybe I'll dig a little bit deeper into why you should not do that. I'm assuming if you're linking into ServiceNow, you probably don't have to do that. I don't know, but that's what I had to do to get this Google form to show, just so you guys know. So let me open that page up and just see if it works. Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and center. I think we have some time. I think there's like a spider crisis going on, so I'm just gonna make this look pretty for a second.
Spider crises are terrible.
She's gonna get back and we're gonna be done and wrapping up.
That's
I've been rescued, y'all.
I would say we
it
could
was the
possibly
size
make
of
it a little bigger.
Texas.
Oh, goodness.
It was huge. You won't believe it. It pulled out a knife and it charged at my husband. And the legit, apparently it was like directly above me. If it had wanted to drop, y'all would have just heard me scream. No, they
That
are
is the
not
appropriate
poisonous
response.
here. Because where is my because they would have to be venomous. So venomous is when they bite you and inject it. Poisonous is when they unload toxins when you eat them. So no, spiders are not poisonous, they're venomous, but not here, luckily. There are some though. When I lived in North Carolina, we had an above ground pool and it was great. Except it was a black widow nest. They had to like level the ground in order for the pool to be there. And on the side where all the dirt was, it was just nonstop black widows. I never went in the pool.
That's an awful pool experience.
It was
like
awful.
Pool of death.
Seriously,
Yeah.
no, it was.
That
Google,
kills every joy of having a pool.
100%. But yeah, Google black widows and brown recluses. Those
mess
are
with a brown
scary.
recluse. I have been bitten by one of them. And
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, high school. Luckily, I got to a doctor like immediately, but not good.
Seriously, oh my God.
Missouri is where I found that one.
I'm good, guys. I don't like spiders. I'm good on all the spider talk.
All right, on to computer talk, because that is way more fun than spiders.
So Maria, what did you hear last? Because we did a few things when you were gone.
Something about security, and I wanted to make a joke about undisabling things, and I'm wondering if there was a term for it, but I didn't want to be mean, so I shut up.
Yeah, I don't know. So I disabled the sandbox. It's not like, so when I enable it, it doesn't want to show my form. And I don't know much about this feature. I told him I'm not going to pretend to know. I would, if we got some security minded people out there, please drop us something in the chat, Slack channel, or now, whatever. But it's the only way I found to get it to work. So.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, we got it in our game page. I have like 1,000 tabs open now. Let's go ahead and refresh that. Yay. So
yay.
Beautiful.
So let's see if that takes us home. Might have to go all the way back. Okay. So I mean, we basically have this thing pretty much set up. We got the cards. You can click into a card. We have our fun facts, which you can read through. We have our photos, which is awesome. If you click here, it will load the game. I don't know why it's logged into my thing, but I'm just going to click through some of these. I'm not really going to answer them unless you guys want to play the game, but just to kind of show you guys how that like reloads in the iframe component.
I love upside down Andrew's name. It's fantastic. That's where the spiders are scary.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So you can play it.
Oh.
You can view your score on there if you just click there. I'm going to click
you
out.
got a
You guys
4
don't
out of
feel the answers.
14.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's what we were pretty much trying to accomplish with our MVP director, with our parts here, was to show everybody, show more info, and then have that game. Unless you guys can think of anything else that we were trying to accomplish here.
So I think this is a great example of what happens. No, don't worry about it, Phil. I was just teasing. This is a great example of what happens when somebody comes up with a great, big, crazy idea in sales, like, let's have a quiz game on ServiceNow, and we'll make it like a flip book where people can flip through the book, and then they can answer the questions, and then you can see the answer at the very end. And then the actual developer making it happen and telling the person, no, listen, this isn't how it's going to work. Like, it's going to work this way, and it's going to work better this way. So while Ashley got it to work and I got stuck literally in research for a long time trying to see how my dumb idea could work, she actually got it done. So I think that's an amazing, amazing thing and a great example of actually finishing something, because I've never been able to do that. But ideally, hopefully someday in the future, maybe in a couple versions when UIBuilder is a little bit more familiar to me and it has a little bit more features, I do want to try to make it like an animated flip book just to see if I can, but I don't know how that would be. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for executing upon the really dumb idea that we had just like off of just like a joke during one of our meetings. 100% Earl. It's only funny if it's self-deprecating, because otherwise it's real. I learned a lot while doing this. Ashley, what is your favorite thing that you've learned through this whole process?
You know, when we first started this, I was like, how are we going to do this? Because I mean, I knew a little bit about it, but I didn't know this much. And you know what really helped me actually figure this all out was there's some templates. Like if you spin up a new app from App Engine Studio, like in your PDI, there's some templates. And I was like, I'm kind of person like, let me see if someone else has done something similar to this, and let me look from there. And there was one called like Team Contacts, is an app that ServiceNow put out. And they kind of had this same stuff. I saw that they had like this data set set up and stuff. So it kind of gave me a beginning visual of how it could be done. And I kind of just ran with it from there. So, you know, that's like one point, is definitely like play around with your PDI and check out the templates, like install them in your PDI, because there's a lot of good stuff in there. There's like themes and a lot of things that ServiceNow has done, and even the way they set up their events and stuff that just aren't documented yet, that you can learn from there. The other cool things that I learned, you know, just going back into that macro component stuff, like I had played around with that a little bit and broke it a little bit doing something else. But, you know, that was kind of like when I was trying to solve that issue of the dot walking, since I kind of had played in here a little bit before, and I knew that data resources were in here. I said, let me just go look. Like if I can't do it on the front end, let me go see if I can do it on the back end. And that was like a really cool thing to learn and do. So like, I guess my other takeaway from this is if you don't see it on UIBuilder yet, don't assume that it can't be done. It may have just not been built into the interface yet. So
Just like
my
reverting
learning thing.
changes.
Yeah.
Exactly. What I learned was that if you mess something, well, first off, if there's multiple developers touching things, you're both editing the same version of the same thing at the exact same time. So don't hit save.
Tricky.
Number two, if you break something, just add the versions related list and you're able to revert it just like any other tracked record. It's just not there out of the box.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if somebody scrolled down deep enough here, they would see all the times I undid it after I broke something. Look for the ones that have me as the person who updated them. But what I think is really awesome is like, thank you for creating that content on your blog for helping out the future generations of people who are going to be trying to learn UIBuilder.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, what it's all about is kind of like stumbling through and figuring out stuff. You know, I'm assuming half the stuff I write about, if not 3/4, will be null and void. But you know, it's always good to have that context of how things used to be to kind of use in your troubleshooting of things that are out now. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Is there anything that interests you, Sharon, about learning more about the UIBuilder? Anything you might want to look forward into? I
love the interface and how it looks very much like a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. I know that there's still some developments to it. It was really cool, Ashley, to see you go into that back side level of it and get into the actual code. Because I get to do some of that with our current projects at work. And I've seen so many times with ServiceNow, it's not a question of can it be done? It's more of just a question of how can you get to it to do it? Because virtually everything can be done. You should always ask, should it be done? But then you can get to doing it, if that makes sense.
MHC in the chat commented on my at the exact same time, so don't save it comment. He says that also applies to having widget record and widget editor open at the same time. Try to only have one or the other open. Don't save a change on the widget record and then later save from editor and override it all. I would like to state two things in response to that. Number one, what kind of a monster edits a widget from the record? Please stop. Just uninstall ServiceNow. Figure out how to do it. Just uninstall. And then number two, I 100% agree. Like it can totally also happen with widget editor if there's multiple people touching a single widget. But wouldn't it be cool if you could like check out widgets? Like you could check out workflows. Okay, I'm gonna stop that one. But the thing that got me though is that UIBuilder, everything is from one view, and you have to save. So you know how you have the page editor for Portal.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the individual widgets. If you make edit to the widget record, you're not having to save the whole page in order to save your changes. In UIBuilder, you have to save the whole page in order to change any component edits you made. So if somebody else is in there, you're just overriding each other's work.
Yeah.
So
important to note.
That's a big difference with how it works, because yes, you can replicate something different, but if I'm in page editor, I can make as many changes without affecting people's widgets, and people saving their widgets will never affect my page editor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, agree. Like you saw us last time, like we kind of just blew everything up when we were both in there at the same time. So I agree. I feel like at the same time, just have one developer working in this. I'm not saying only one developer could ever touch it, but just don't be in it at the same time, because there's going to be unexpected consequences right now, unless that changes, which is subject to change at any point.
You know, it'd be really cool. And then I wanted to make a joke about them naming some form of record after us that involves like the whole like saving things separately, like a an MGOPW instance. I don't know. I'm still trying to do that at work. I'm trying to figure out how I can name something after me. We'll see.
No, you just leave comments in the code with your fingerprints all over them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Document something and make the first letter of every sentence spell out Rick Roll. Or like the lyrics of the actual song. It'd be great. Earl said in the chat, MGOPW's triggers sexism, racism, and editing widgets on the record. True. Like, I'm sorry. True. I have completely lost track of time. So I have no idea how much time we even have left. Is there anything that y'all wanted to chat about while I try to dig up my notes?
I'm good. Do we have any questions or anything in the chat?
No, I think everybody was just having a blast here.
I'm glad we got it done. I know this was a 3-parter, and I knew when we were talking about this, I was like, I think this is going to be multiple parts. But
I remember.
I'm glad we got it done. We did a lot of different stuff. It was a lot. Like, we had to set up pages and EVAM definitions, which I had no idea what that was. And it was a scary word to me before starting this. I was like, EVAM, I don't ever want to touch that.
I think,
and then we had to set up another data resource and then troubleshoot that data resource. So we learned a lot in this process. And it looks really simple when we show it. You're like, oh yeah, it's just some cards on a page.
You make it look super easy.
It's not. The simplicity is deceiving here. Let's just say that.
So Ashley, I think Earl is vying for a part 4. He asked, how do we play the game or see the final product? So the question is, how do we publish this thing?
Mm-hmm.
That is an excellent question.
And I'd have to ask our interns, because it's all in our scoped app. And I know I messed some things up in the first one, but I went back and fixed that. It's all in our scoped app. So I guess I would have to ask Earl and Brad, like because I think there's some instances up, like how can we move this thing over?
I mean, I'm sure we can just link people to this and I'll just keep it awake every day. It's no problem.
Yeah.
But do we have to do anything special to publish a UIBuilder site?
I don't know. I the only question I would have is moving these user records over. I think I tried publishing them to an application file and it yelled at me. So that would be the only concern I would have to figure out. Maybe that's like a part 4 thing.
Yeah, I wonder if we have to do anything hacky in order to make public UIBuilder pages like we have to do for Portal. Pro tip, don't do public Portal. So I'm gonna say.
That's a good question.
No, the answer to why, Sharon, is no.
Okay.
Well, that's a good question. I don't have any audiences or roles or anything on this, so I don't know. Let me log out. Hey, why don't we just do that? We have like a couple more minutes, right? Let me copy the URL, log out of your instance that I'm using. Close
Sharon,
everything.
somebody complimented your voice. They said they thought it was Siri talking.
I agree. Not sure that's a compliment. Voice. I argue with Siri.
No, it doesn't like it. You're right. I didn't even think about that. So that is an interesting question and something that we would probably want to look at for part 4.
So you guys, this is my trick. At around the end of every lady coding happy hour, I just try to break something so that they keep inviting us back. So yeah, I guess part 4, we're gonna figure out how to make a public UIBuilder.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything out there for it. So yeah, I don't know.
Because you just know that's the next question that a customer is going to ask, somebody's going to ask. So can I make this without authentication? Because you already solved the quiz part of it.
Yeah.
But now how do they get there?
Yeah. That's going to be interesting.
Perfect.
We are using that sys user table and everything. So I'm going to have to open stuff up.
MHC, are you implying that we need people to be able to access our things in order to consider a success? My response, I don't know. Are you implying that we develop anywhere other than in production so our stuff isn't already just published? You guys don't develop in production? Okay, so let's take a look here at my notes that tell me what to do right now. Thank you so much for joining me today. I think we've had a wonderful time. So please let us know where people can find you and tell us what you thought of your beer. And then I'll go last.
Cool. I'll go ahead and go. So you can find me on the SNDev Slack, and you can find me at my blog, ashleysn.com. And I'll throw a post up of what we did today on there so you can follow along in like a non-video format. And my beer, I love this beer company. This beer is good. I've had some better ones. I'm going to rate it like a 3.5. It's very drinkable, but they have some hoppier ones that I like a little bit better. So.
All right. And I can be found at SNDevs as well. For my beer, it was probably a 3. Absolutely mediocre. It is not offensive, but not impressive either. So yeah.
I think this is going to be a first for me, but this beer, Tropic Like It's Hot, brewed in support of Virginia Pride, vapride.org. I really like it. Like I actually drank this. I didn't just hand it off to my husband after LCHH. It's amazing. Like I really like it. It gets like a 5 out of 5 because it's just so yummy and it doesn't taste like hoppy, but it's not a sour ale isn't a cider, right? I don't know how beers work.
No.
Beers are weird. Point is, it's yummy. I'm MGOPW, the last of many names. You can find me at womennow.dev. If there's any female identifying persons or our allies who want a platform to speak, hit us up. Let us know. We're happy to host you. The whole point of womennow.dev is literally to get our voices heard. Like regardless, if you want to speak about allyship, if you're a female identifying person, find me. I am also on devs. So thank you all very much. I hope everybody in the chat had fun. And that will be it for us. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.